I'm thrilled that they earned their way into the NCAA tournament. I really do believe they did by having the courage to play the teams they played in their non-conference schedule. And that said, you know, we knew, as happy as I was that she got in, I wasn't happy that we had to play them. They're a very, very good basketball team coached by a really, really good coach. When you learn, though, to cry or moan about the light that what's dealt you, it was only going to have your players making excuses, so we never made any excuses. We just prepared our players to play a very, very good Oklahoma team, and now that we have survived it, the fact that we have played a team of that significant ability and challenge, it should have us more prepared to move into whomever the NCAA gods send us next.
Okay, questions for student athletes, please? We'll start over here on the right with Dave and then come down to the front.
Amara, can you talk about it's David Campbell with the Associated Press. Can you talk about the start you guys had? Their first 5 buckets were three-pointers. Seemed like it opened up a lot for what you wanted to do.
Yeah, we just pressed getting off to a quick and efficient start every game. And that's what we really focused on this game. And, I mean, today we came out and hit the shots that counted. So.
Right here in the front.
For Ashton, Tyler Palmatier with Norman Transcript. The way you guys play, when you get a start like you do in the first half, what effect do you feel like that has on opponents mentally and physically, just from that standpoint when you're shooting like that, and when you're playing at that pace? I'm sorry.
I guess it has a huge effect because like then they have to worry about our threes. So then that's when we get paint touches, and then like when we get paint touches, it opens up our three again. So I mean, it can have a huge effect.
Over here once again, Dave.
Kelly, talk about it did turn, despite that great start, it turned into a bit of a grind, didn't it, in the second half? Can you talk about Oklahoma and what they did to kind of fight their way and stay in the game when it looked like you guys might be ready to pull away?
Yeah, I mean, Oklahoma's a great team, and although we did get off to a quick start, they came back. So it was really key that we got off to a great start, and then it did become like a back-and-forth game. So it's really key that we got stops and got rebounds to finish the game off.
I'm going to ask you one more. Late in the game, it seemed like you guys were trying to take some time off the clock, and then you sort of abandoned that late and got back to the game that you play. Can you talk about what the thinking was in doing that, or did it just work out that way?
I think it kind of just worked out that way. Our offensive execution wasn't exactly what we were going for today, but we got the job done. So.
Right here in the front.
Maria McElwain, Bryan College Station Eagle. Amara, when they were making defensive stops and forcing turnovers, especially late, how important was it for you guys to then on the other side play strong defense?
Very important. We always stress if they make shots, we have to defend and play our game. If our shots aren't going in, we have to defend. So, like Kelly said before, the offense wasn't going our way. You know, we really struggled because their defense was on point. And we knew they were making stops and we weren't scoring, so we had to come down and play our defense and make stops too.
Anything further for student athletes?
Quick question for Kelly. In the fourth quarter, your defense held them scoreless for about 4.5 minutes. Very critical stretch going down the end of the game. What were you guys thinking was going on there? The score was pretty well.
Really just, we knew that if we wanted to win the game, we had to get stops and get rebounds. So it was really important for us to hold them scoreless, and I'm glad we executed that well.
All right. Ladies, congratulations. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Questions for Coach, please. Right in the front.
Coach, yesterday the conversation was kind of all about like y'all's high-scoring games, making threes. Do you think today was kind of just a showcase of how complete your team is, that they can play defense, they can rebound, and they can have those high-octane games?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you the question.
Okay, I'll talk louder. So yesterday, the conversation was kind of all about how y'all have these high-scoring games, you hit all these threes, and then today it turns into a grind where it's all about the defense. Do you think this was a show of how complete your team is?
Well, I think the second half here, there's no way. I mean, when you don't execute offensively, there was a reason we didn't execute offensively. Oklahoma did a good job defensively. They went to a 2-3 zone in the first half, and that slowed us down in the second quarter. It took a little bit of time for us to get adjusted to that zone. Then they began switching defenses in the third and the fourth quarter, and we never really got our offensive execution moving. An earlier question was about whether we were trying to take, there was no time in this game we were trying to take time off the clock. We don't do that. I mean, obviously we do it inside 3-4 minutes of the game, but not when the 14-point lead, 7-8 minutes to go in a ball game. We don't do that. We just weren't executing. The reason we weren't executing is because Oklahoma did a great job with their defense. They were switching things. They were switching screens. We weren't reading screens. I mean, it was just a mess. We were in a mess offensively. I'm one of these coaches that really just tries to make it simple for our players. You earn the right to shoot the ball quickly and play at the pace that they love to play by bringing your hard hats and bringing your lunch pails and defending and rebounding earns you the right to have a party on offense. All right, so I think we did a pretty good job of finally not putting Oklahoma on the free throw line. Don't forget, if you look at this thing, Oklahoma, I think, shot 33 free throws. So we put them on the free throw line an inordinate amount of time tonight. So we finally started having some defensive stops without putting them on the free throw line. At the same time, our offensive execution totally went south. And then we finally started to get some kind of offensive rhythm back very late in the game. But that's kind of how the whole thing. But I do think, I think the question is, do we have a complete team? Well, I think this team has grown to be as complete as we can be. You don't see any 6'5" to 6'7" players walking around out there. So we're as complete as we can be, given what we've got. And I just love these players. This game is won by the players. It's always won by the players. They make these. They make every play. They got off to the quick and efficient start, and they also held strong when that Oklahoma team, made a great run at us at the second half.
Right here in the front.
You mentioned Tyler Palmatier with the Norman transcript, Doug. You mentioned size.
It's my ears. It's not your guys' voices. It's my ears, all right? That's the price you pay for being able to still coach at my age. Go ahead.
Okay. You mentioned size. When you play a team that has a post presence, you mentioned you don't have a whole lot of size. What's your defensive philosophy going into it? And against Oklahoma, how comfortable did you feel with their outside shooting, kind of packing in the paint a little bit?
Well, I have great assistant coaches that scout these teams very, very well, and Oklahoma is a team that doesn't allow you to give too much help inside because they have three players that can knock down threes. You saw Gabby Ortiz get hot. She's a local product. She's a Chicago. Racine, Wisconsin to us is a suburb. So, I mean, basically, Gabby grew up, we wanted Gabby very badly to come to DePaul. And, she's a great shooter. And she got going a little bit in the first half, and she got going in the second half. So when you have those three players, Manning and Lunasa and Gabby Ortiz, that can all make threes, you're really limited where you can send your help. Our help could only come today off of number 14. We could help off of 1 and 12 a little bit, but basically it was, that's why Oklahoma gives you they're hard to play against because, Pierre Louis is just so strong inside. So that's where, that's why we probably went to the foul line. They went to the foul line so much because Sherry did a good job of getting it inside. We couldn't handle it, couldn't manage it, and they got to the line all night. Fouled out two of our starters for sure. And Prochaska ended the game with 4, and Campbell ended with 4. So,
anything more for Coach?
Thanks everybody for covering Women's Hoops. We really appreciate you.